Bing bang, walla walla, bing bang, zippity doo dah. Oh, yeah, that is how it's done. I'm so happy. Oh, man. Have you know Ren and Stimpy, which was not a kid's show, by the way, but it was a kid's show if you grew up in the 90s. Nevertheless, I just feel like Stimpy right now, like, oh, joy, as your commissioner, will make the playoffs. So I had to share my excitement with you because truly trying to contain how happy I am right now and how unbelievably miserable I could have been, how I know unbelievably miserable co-commissioner Aaron Grog is feeling right now. He is not the only one, and I am not the only person watching this week's episode feeling elated. There is overwhelming joy and equal heartbreak at the end of the regular season. So, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings and salutations. It is the culmination of week 14. The regular season is over, and we now know who is in the playoffs, who is eliminated. The nice thing about the Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen, there's something to play for no matter where you are in the postseason. We're going to talk all about that in tomorrow's episode, so stay tuned. We got a lot going on this week. It's the playoffs, baby. But before we get to that playoffs, we have to go over everything that got us to said playoffs, and that means covering week 14. So take a moment, like and subscribe, get us out there. We hope you're enjoying all of the Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen action, and it is the most action-filled week of the season. So you know what to do for the next hour. You belong to me. Find something to eat. Find something to drink. Push out all the external distractions. Why would you want to be anywhere else? Come on, turn up the volume on your listening device and let us start with this breakdown that meant so much with a game that didn't mean all that much. Evan, you win this game. It means that by beating Josh, you are able to get to the upper tiers of the consolation ladder. Josh, even with a win here, you would have been in what is the first round of Forever and Clean. Remember, here in the Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen, just because you finished last in the regular season, that does not make you Forever and Clean. We now have 3 rounds of consolation ladders, and whoever loses that series of games at the very end, they become Forever Unclean. More often than not, it becomes the last person, but it is a nice way that just because you finish last in the season, maybe you're catching fire, kind of like Brock when we get to him, but at the end of the day, it's not just because you finished last. It gives you something to fight for, something to not just be because you finished last. So, Josh, although you are not going to escape the first round here, Evan gets a little further away. It was 100 to 132. 100 points is more points than you've put up in a while. So that is good to see. 22 points from Jared Goff. Amir Abdullah gets nothing. A Sincere McCormick is the starter there. Blake Corum, desperation play, I understand, given the injuries and suspensions and litany of nonsense that you have been dealing with. Where it all comes from, Puka Nakua, 41 points, 12 receptions, 162. My God. Another goose egg from Keon Coleman. 3 good. Miami's defense goose. I mean, you score 100 points with 3 goose eggs and your running back core essentially doing nothing. I mean, you score more, you would have beat me this week. And I at least had a lineup that was startable, which is, more to the point when I get to my team, then I'm going to rage. Evan, big win here. Really looking like you're going to pass the title of Forever Unclean to someone else this year. Patrick Mahomes still not having a good day, and I don't know how many times I have to tell you to start Baker Mayfield. I mean, against, Las Vegas. I mean, what do you need, my man? Another big day from Josh Jacobs. Najee hits double digits. Justin Jefferson, 32 points, and keeps you, in pace with Puka a little bit there. Even Christian Watson finds double digits this week with 114 yards. Njoku, another solid day. Man, how many of us were just watching him float around and wish we had him now? Jamison Williams. Oh my God, I do it every time. Him and Jahmyr Gibbs, I swear. And I can do it when I'm not looking at him. But when I look at him, when you do a podcast, people are going to listen to you. It's a lot of pressure, okay? I'm just saying. And then you throw in the devil's lettuce. Don't judge. Just listen. Enjoy. Dallas's defense, which I don't get it. Don't get why both your defense. Why? You love losing. Okay, this is why there's still a chance you could become forever unclean. Forever unclean, you piece of shit. Make better decisions. Basket number 6. Not a lot to talk about here. It's a big win. At the end of the day, 6-8. You wind up as the number 11 team. Aaron, unfortunately, Josh, 3-11. Second to last, number 13. And starting the first round of the Forever Unclean in those playoff weeks. Our next game was a very low-scoring match. It was a dirty, muddy, gritty fight. And Derek, you be glad that you're playing Jack this week, because you lose and you might get kicked out of the playoffs if you don't have tiebreakers with Brock and Jordan. I mean, you talk about, you and me both, skin of the teeth. We'll get to me, but yeah, I think a fingernail save, just the right things happening for you in order to get a win here and guarantee your playoff position. Jack, it was a tall order. Kind of just the season you're having right now. Unfortunately, we knew you're not going to escape the first round of the Forever Unclean match, and that is going to be the case here as you lose this game, finishing the season at 2-12, dead last in the season. But again, for the reasons I just explained, just because you finished last in the regular season does not mean that you are forever unclean. So there is a chance. There is a chance that you can actually pass that on to Josh, who, not saying that's who I think it's going to be, but that's who it's going to be. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. But in the meantime, we'll break down this sissy fight. Not a lot happening here. Heavy bye week. We'll point out that for you as well, Jack. And not anything going. Defense goes negative, single digits. DJ Moore, hey, when you started him, he got you 10. You'll take it. But the only other player to see double digits was Travis Etienne. It was a bad day all around. I don't know why you didn't start. Oh, the Jordan, because Detroit. Yeah, okay. I mean, I would have just gone with Jordan Love. It wouldn't have made a difference. You would have scored 2 more points. So, not anything going on here, which has kind of been the story of the season, unfortunately. And Derek, like I said, you get away, by the skin of your teeth, as they say. Bad day for Justin Herbert. He's injured. Jonathan Brooks re-tears the exact same ACL that he just got done nursing back. So his injury comes later in the year than it did last time. And look how long it took him to come back. Jonathan Brooks' NFL career probably done. I mean, maybe he becomes some backup stash somewhere. But I mean, given the fact that we haven't even got to see him take off yet, not good. Unfortunate. Bucky Irving, subpar day. Nothing great going on. Rachaad White gets the touchdown in that game for the running backs. Amon St. Brown and Malik Neighbors do what they need to do. It's double digits, 10-14. The big play that's hilarious that it's Odunze that comes to your rescue late, because this game without 20 points sure makes it interesting. I'm just curious, what is his average? 9 points. So you lose effectively 10. It's his 10-point game. You're super lucky that Malik Neighbors didn't get the 4-3 nonsense that's been happening. Sanders, your kicker, 15. Hell, that there it is. Let's be honest. How about your kicker scoring running back RB2, wide receiver 2 numbers. Doesn't matter. All that does matter, it's a win. It's 8-6. You guarantee yourself a spot. It's the number 4 seed going into the playoffs. You're in, Jack. Here's your chance, man. Starting next week, you can have a chance to not be forever unclean. You got to put together something. That's what you don't want. And we'll explain all of the real punishments and champion that we'll talk more about it in week 15, round 1 of the playoffs. Game 3 is a high-scoring affair, and Jordan walks away with the win as the Grand Wizard could not find the heart of the cards, essentially, to find a win here. Jordan, it is, like I said, I thought that it would be a tall order for you or Brock to make the playoffs with your 7-7. Needed a lot to happen for that to be the case, and, at the end of the day, it's a win. The important thing is it's going to put you at the very top of the consolation ladder, and we'll talk about all that here in just a moment. Forrest, unfortunately, you fall to 5-9, but you're in the mid part of the consolation ladder. It's a far cry from where you'd be, from where you drafted, so I think you're okay with that, and you like to see that you're scoring over 100 points on a week that was a bit rough. So, a big win, Jordan. Again, you like to see the high scoring. Thank God none of us has to worry about Jordan or Josh Allen and his 51 points and his 6 touchdowns. Tyrone Tracy, great day, 19 points. Nick Chubb, desperation play in Cleveland. They're done. You're done, essentially, when we talk about the playoffs. But, I hate saying, eliminated, and you're not really going home. There's so much in the Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen that you play for compared to other leagues. So it's just elimination from the playoffs, man. That's all it is here. You have your own playoff and seeds to fight for in 2025. So you love to see this. People in the consolation bracket do not like to see this, okay? Cooper Kupp, 20 points. I just cannot believe that Juwan Johnson is just going crazy there in New Orleans. He does get banged up. Isaiah Pacheco, 8. The defense and the kicker, man, I just want Chris Boswell back. He's such a nice little safe. You just feel safe. You feel good when you can start Chris Boswell. Nothing on the bench going on here. It's a great day. Great win. Love the production, love the outcome on the individual game, but you don't like the outcome when it comes to the fact it's just not enough to push you into the playoffs. One of the teams, I knew we'd have 7-7 teams on the outside looking in, and that definitely is the case here. Forrest, I think you still should be happy. It's unfortunate that you don't have Bo Nix here, but, Jameis Winston, 15, that's very respectable. Other than that, there's really not a lot you would change here. You'd love to have the points. Had, Travis Kelce been able to hit the double digits, I don't think it would have been enough to make a difference here. But, Aaron Jones and David Montgomery are doing their jobs. Jalen Waddle with a 20 burger. MVS gets you 9, but he's not playable. You cannot use him with the loss of Derek Carr. So goodbye, MVS, to the waivers you go, I'm sure. Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy, I will say this, for a flex and a tight end, that's 18 points. That's not bad, man. Not bad at all. Nice pickup with Jacksonville's defense. And Elliott, find a new kicker. That's my advice to you. Find a new kicker. What can we say other than, again, Jordan, you are up at the upper echelon. There's no way, even with 3 straight losses, that you'll become forever unclean. We'll talk more about that. Forrest, now's the time where you have to start fighting to not be forever unclean. Everybody, of course, fighting for their choice of a better pick in 2025. But given the situation, I think you just got to find 2 wins and you'll be okay and not have to worry about becoming forever unclean here in 2024. Game 4 was a absolute blowout. And I just want to say, Chandler, you're freaking stupid, man. Will Levis, even against Jacksonville, why would you not play Brock Purdy? You're dumb. You're incredibly stupid. I mean, it's decisions like this that have led to you giving David Montgomery away. I mean, it's decisions like this that is like you're going to start Debo. This game could have ended so differently if Brennan is not on a heavy bye week. I mean, Lamar Jackson might change this, okay? But at the end of the day, you just thank Jamar Chase for having the game of the year for you. I mean, solidifies a win, which guarantees your position into the playoffs. So it is a Slacking 151-98. Brennan, 3 losses in a row, but does it matter? Nope, because you locked up all the wins necessary 11 weeks ago. Now 14 weeks ago, but by the 11th week, whatever, well in hand. No worry about losing the number 1 seed, even though Austin and Jonathan both hit 11-3. You beat them early enough in the season, so you had the round 1 bye secured well before we even got to this point. As we said, for a while, you've been cruising, ready you've been waiting for round 2 for a while, my friend. So we're not going to talk a whole lot about this other than how incredibly lucky Chandler is that you still score 150 points. Bijan, you love the 20. We'll highlight it. Jordan Addison, 39 points. I don't even know how. You do nothing. I mean, it's really not great. I mean, K-Dot and 10, defense 10, great. But, I mean, 151 points. And you're looking at 105 points coming, 105 from 2 players. Okay. You take away 105 between 2 players, you lose this game. Okay. And you're in real big trouble of not making the playoffs, man. Again, we talk about things going right for certain people. It is so interesting when we look at the matches where it doesn't go right for certain people, and we're getting there. Don't worry, chat. We're getting there. Just hold on, baby. We're gonna cover it all. So it is nothing that we see a lot of different, at least when it comes to the movement of the upper echelon of the playoffs. Brennan, what we like to see here, points. We at least score about 100 points on a week where you have no Lamar Jackson, Ramondre Stevenson, whatever. Not a lot going. You lose George Pickens, and word on the street he's actually going to miss week 15, which is really interesting because he's saying he was good to go, and even Pittsburgh before week 14 was like, he could have played, but he's not. And now all of a sudden they're like, no, George Pickens is not going to play. So I don't know if maybe they think, okay, we've made the playoffs, we're just going to let him rest, and they don't need to. I don't know. It seems weird. I personally would be starting George Pickens if he's ready to go. Obviously, you hope that's the case next week. Not a good day for the running backs. Yeah, not good. CeeDee Lamb has a great day. That's what you love to see, especially still with no Dak. Drake London, double digits. You like it. Calvin Ridley, another dick slap in the face to Aaron Felch, especially when we know what happened this week with Aaron Felch. So double dick slap in the face to Aaron Felch. We'll talk about why. We're getting there. We're saving all the things that didn't go right, and then the one thing that did go right at the very end. So, New Orleans defense goes 9, Aubrey 9, 98 points. Okay, 98 points without Lamar Jackson. Excellent. So, Lamar throws another 20 on there. Ramondre Stevenson makes the running back core better, obviously with no Herbert. So, going into the playoffs. And then the one thing definitely going for you is you're the most, literally probably one of the most healthy teams, which is definitely one of the reasons why you are 11-3. You haven't been dealing with as many injuries as the rest of us. So congratulations to both of these owners making the playoffs, the number 1 and the number 5 teams for you guys as we hit round 1 of the playoffs. So let's talk about one of those games that didn't go right for a certain someone, and that is our game 5, which features the elimination of co-commissioner Aaron Grog as he took on Austin Allen. And that's right, you heard me correct. For the first time since 2016, co-commissioner Aaron Grog has been eliminated from the Fantasy Gents playoffs. He has no one to blame but himself. It's not a very good. He's highly overrated. You know, this is what happens. This is called karma when you trade rape your friends and family. Okay, when you send vicious memes of things to people in the group, when you send hexes and that hex sits on a person's Christmas tree for an entire month, and then it is opened and you lose round 1 of the playoffs. This is what happens. You miss out on all the fun, you son of a bitch. Austin, I owe you a chicken dinner, steak, potatoes, chicken, wine, whatever, whatever you want, sweetheart. You just let Big Daddy know. All right. Is you do exactly what I needed to have happen. Exactly. As long as Aaron Grog and Aaron Felch are eliminated, if the Aarons are taken care of, then it is smooth sailing for your commissioner, your capitano, and that is what happened. It is a great game. First of all, it's a great game. All kidding aside, 123 to 129. I can hear Aaron right now. It's not a good game. It's not a good game, you fat son of a bitch. Yo, you're such a. I fucking hate you. Yeah, I can. It's like he lives. There's a portion of that man that lives in my head rent free because he's just burrowed his way in there over the last 25 years. It is a good game, Aaron. Okay, 123 points. It's fantastic. You would have beat most everybody else. You would have beat me. Oh my God. Yeah, you won Bourbon Bowl the last 5 of 6 years, and you miss out on the playoffs. You beat me. And guess who you're sitting behind? And guess who's in the playoffs? Oh my God. Oh, I thought I could get through this game and break it down without being, but I'm so happy. I might be more happy that you've missed out on the playoffs than me making the playoffs. And it is a legit hard decision to pick which one brings me more joy. But then I realized that both are true, and then I feel so happy. So let's break this game down. Joe Burrow, oh my God. Rachaad White, 24 points. Alvin Kamara, 12 points. Garrett Wilson has been jack dog shit bad for weeks now, and he scores 18 points. And I'm going to skip the savior, the person who I owe for this lovely night. Tucker Kraft gets into the end zone. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is going to be a game. Jerry Jeudy, 17 points, has been a top 10 wide receiver since Jameis Winston has come back. And defense and kicker, 4 points. It means nothing. What really happens is that T. Higgins, this person that you traded and invested so much for, scores 4 points. 2 receptions for 23 yards, and if the man catches a touchdown, you win the game. Doesn't happen. Austin, I know that was a lot just to get to your game. You just like to see that you're producing here. You've got a bye week here. The big one here is Jaden Daniels in the Denver defense. Javonte Williams, you're benching anyway. Nothing really, going on the bench. You actually play. I cannot believe that starting Jonnu Smith in a double tight end. was as good as as starting Devonta Smith. Unreal. 0.4 difference. It's irrelevant. I cannot believe the two tight. You guys and the two tight ends. You kill me. You literally kill me. The big thing here, Derek Carr really could have screwed you in this game. Fractured his hand, season over, 11 points. It's enough to get the job done. Saquon Barkley, 124 yards in the game, 14 points. You like it. Jahmyr Gibbs, hey, I did it. 19 points. Darnell Mooney, 20. JSN, another 20. George Kittle, 20. We just talked about it. Jonnu Smith, 13. The Texans defense and Group A gets, and I didn't understand the joke, Austin. I completely misunderstood the joke. I, for whatever reason, was thinking you were talking about my game with Jonathan, and I'm like, I'm getting my ass kicked. What kind of sick joke? Like, hence the Obama, like, oh, what? But I get it now that you were effectively could have given the game away, but you didn't, baby, which is why the offer for chicken and wine and a little, sexual healing is on the table, okay? And unfortunately, we'll have to postpone it next week, but we'll talk more about that in tomorrow's episode. Aaron, you're out. Get off my lawn. Fuck off. Fuck Aaron. Hashtag fuck Aaron. Let's move on to the next game. Game 6 was an utter blowout. It has Brock scoring not only the highest point total for the week, but he gets back to 500 after losing 6 games in a row. And we knew one of these owners was going to at least have a chance to make the playoffs, and one of these owners would be eliminated. Brock, we knew that was just like Jordan. It was just a little bit harder for the both of you. If you hit 7-7, you just needed things to go in really the opposite direction that they went for me and Derek, and you could argue Chandler too, depending on the tiebreakers individually, respectively, for you both. If just the right things had happened, it was a little harder for the two of you, but you could have snuck in, and it was like you said, and unfortunately, Brock's not in the Facebook chat. He's in the Discord chat, so he's only even seen by maybe half the people and responded to by like 3 people. And that is to say that it is a shame that you pumpkin in only the sense that you miss out on going to the ball. You've done everything right. Fairy godmother came in, set you up with the dress, the horses, the carriage, the whole 9 yards. And unfortunately, it's just not enough for you to stick around and see what happens. But it's a great showing, and you are set up to win the best of the worst. You're set up to win that consolation ladder and have your choice of what obviously I think would be the number 1 pick for 2025. Aaron, it's a little bit of getting outscored when you do really good. It's 107. It's a good number. You get absolutely walloped, and it's disappointing. If you get 7-7 with the way things happen, you're in. If you win this game, I am down in the gutter with Brock. I'm down in the gutter with co-commissioner. Both co-commissioner and commissioner don't make the playoffs. You're in as the number 6. So as much as I owe Austin a little steak and sex, I think I might owe you some, as well as both of you guys do exactly what I need you to do to ensure that I get into the playoffs. Jalen Hurts, 24 points here. Tony Pollard, 14. Guerrero, who you lose. I mean, my God, San Francisco just losing running backs left and right. 2, both your wide receiver 1 and 2 injured in the game and goose egg you, and you still score 107 points. Insane, Aaron. Just insane. Hawkinson, 8 points. You love it. Kyron Williams, 2 touchdowns, 23 points. You can argue Chuba Hubbard, but in a game against Philly, and you've got Gerwindo, Pollard. I mean, yeah, you clearly made the right decision here. You're not beating yourself up over benching Chuba Hubbard when Jonathan Brooks comes back, man. Who knew that Jonathan Brooks was going on? But hey, you are starting Chuba Hubbard now for the rest of the consolation bracket. As you know, Jonathan Brooks is done, which means Chuba Hubbard is a top 15 running back for the rest of the 3 weeks remaining. Sam Darnold, what would you like to see? Brock, what a game. 34 points. We knew that game was going to be good. A-Chain and Rico Dowdle combined for well over 30 points combined. Tyreek Hill has a great day, 28 points. Combine it with Mike Evans, it's almost 40. Trey McBride, again, all the volume, thank God. I cannot be ceding touchdowns to Trey McBride. So I am 100% down. He can have the receptions. He can have the volume. I don't think you're going to complain about that. Just don't take my touchdowns. Okay, Brock? That's the deal. Okay? Don't take the touchdowns. You can get the number one. You take Trey McBride, win the consolation ladder. Okay? Take all the volume you need, sir, but the touchdowns remain with Final Boss. Okay? Okay. All right. Jawan Jennings. I love saying that. God bless the fantasy footballers, okay, and fantasy nerds everywhere, because saying Jawan Jennings is fantastic. Do it by yourself. Do it in the mirror. Do it in the bathroom. Make people think awkward things. I love it. 28 points. Clearly is Brock Purdy's number one target. It's not even close, much to Chandler's chagrin. Philadelphia, the defense, and Bates, the kicker. It's a great day. You've got some tough quarterback choices next week. We'll talk about that when we get there in tomorrow's episode. But it is a great showing. I am sorry, not sorry that you are missing out on the playoffs, because you don't. There's so many teams. There are teams, man. That I say this as a commissioner. You'd love to see them in the playoffs, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. And unfortunately, even with the win, you're not in. And of course, Aaron, with the loss, you're out and looking to compete. Don't get anything twisted. You can get a rematch here with Brock. And even though he kept you out of the playoffs, keep him from getting the number one seed. And you get that number one seed by beating him in the best of the worst matches. That will bring us to the last game of week 14, and it was not as close. You would see like 106 to 120 and think, oh, that game's actually pretty close, 14 points. That's right there. Not really. I had to grind it out for this game, and it was not pretty when we look at like my oh man, just the bottom half of my team bottoms out so horrendously bad. And I think about the last minute changes I make in this game, and then I think that you lose your starting running backs, and somehow, through some ungodly way, you manage to get both of your handcuffs. And I just want to say thanks, Jack, for dropping Zach Charbonnet and not picking him back up. I mean, ridiculous. You win your game if you have Zach Charbonnet against Derek, and you screwed Derek's day up with Zach Charbonnet. But no. And then we'll get to Zach Charbonnet here in just a moment. Let's start with the fact that everything that with my, the starting top of my line here, Kyler Murray would have had a 20-plus point day if he doesn't throw 2 interceptions. I don't understand what it is about Seattle and Arizona. I don't understand why or how this is such a problem game for the Cardinals. And now the Cardinals, who were the number one team in the NFC West, are all of a sudden the worst team. They are now the worst team. Unbelievable. At least it's 17 points. But there's 10. I mean, I get those 4 points back. It's a 10-point game. Chase Brown does everything in his power to bring me. It's the Monday night game. I am down, 37 points, 40 points, and the dude puts up 25. I mean, he tried. James Conner, great day, receiving touchdown, 90 on the ground, 22 points. The one receiver that I'm worried about almost more than anybody, Brian Thomas looked just fine. 8 for 86, 16 points, just exactly what I needed him to do. And what did we know? Shame on us. Shame on us, fantasy world. Shame on me, Fantasy League of Ordinary Gentlemen, because after Nick Westbrook-Akine, who last week scores 21 points, the week before that, 12 points, the week before that, 19 points. In week 10, he had 6, but then the 2 weeks before that, 16, 11. The dude is cooking with hot fire, okay? And you just knew the moment you get the not only you have to start him, but you get the balls to start him. And I'm bouncing around on who do I pick up with these crazy injuries happening, and it's like, okay, we're going to start, and so many people starting Nick Westbrook-Akine, and he bones you in the ass. So many people, I bet, lose out. I easily could have missed out on the playoffs because Westbrook-Akine does nothing. Yes, I get he drops a touchdown in the end zone. That's still only 8 points, 9 points. No. Okay, well, that's not, and now who knows what's happening with Will Levis. Nonsense. Dalton Kincaid are not going to play. Who becomes instantaneously the number one? Dawson Knox, who's had over 50 yards in over 2 games, over 4 targets. In a game where Josh Allen will score 6 touchdowns, do you think that Dawson Knox gets anything? No. I drop at the last minute Calcaterra, who I knew was going to get into the end zone against Carolina, and does. There's 10 points. This becomes a 4-point game. This becomes a 4-point game if I keep Calcaterra in, because Dawson Knox goes one reception for 5 yards, 1.5 points. Oh my God. Marvin Harrison, another 4 for 49. Horrible. Flex at best numbers. Like the roller coaster against Seattle, who are like 27th against wide receivers. It's horrible. They're not good. Arizona's defense goes negative. Thank God. You want to talk about, I actually went out. If you look at the net, because this is how you have to compare defenses, -4 to -8, I actually get 4 points because both of our defenses go negative. This actually somehow, in the most perverse manner, in the craziest of ways, works out for me. Great pickup, if I don't say so myself, by getting 60 points from a kicker that just was, promoted from a practice squad a couple weeks ago. Nothing on my bench I'm upset about. I'm upset about the points that I dropped Isaiah Davis. I drop Isaiah Davis, and that I win the game. If I keep Grant Calcaterra and I start Isaiah Davis over Westbrook-Akine, I win the game, and I don't even have to worry about the scenario. Oh, I had to get that off my chest, but we're not done. I know I had to get that, my team. Now we get to talk about your team, Jonathan. Caleb Williams, 14 points. Yeah, okay, no big deal. Brendan Allen, 12 points. Okay, no big deal. Zach Charbonnet, who is averaged up until the other day less than 10 points. It was like 9.8, something like that. 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? If he gets 9 points, this becomes a 3-point game. And then I'm really eating myself over not starting Calcaterra or keeping in Isaiah Davis. I mean, what in holy hellfire is going on when you and I play? It's just not right. At least I scored more points this week than I did in week 1. I'll take that. Devonta Adams, who does nothing until the end of the fourth quarter, ends up scoring 25 points. Absolutely mind-numbing. 13 points for Jacoby Myers. Great, Brock Bowers stays down to earth and gets you 8 points. I mean, I can't remember the other guy's name. He gets all of the tight end work. I can't believe Sincere McCormick gets you 10 points. What a ridiculous play and pick up with the injuries you've got going on. I'm very surprised you didn't play Adam Thielen, especially given the week that he had last week. I understand Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia might have scared people more than they really should. We talked about Buffalo's defense. Richard, the kicker, 5. Not nothing special. Gets a good win. It gets you to 11-3. You're going to get and hold on to the number 2 seed. You get the bye week. Congratulations. I fall to 7-7, and as we've talked about all leading up to now, everything falls just right so that your co-commissioner, who may be number 6 in the standings, but is number 1 in your hearts, is in the playoffs, which means that, I don't disappear for 3 weeks in anger. So good for you guys. I'm just going to say, let's go ahead and break down our end of season standings. Here we go. We talked about it already. Number 1, Brennan Scala at 11-3, had everything locked up weeks ago. Number 1 gets the round 1 bye, and a great season, Brennan. Again, 0 to hero from where you were last year. Jonathan Andrews and Austin Allen coming in also at 11-3. They'll finish 2-3 respectively. So another rookie having a great year. Austin, defending champion, is going to get a chance to defend that championship this year. Mr. Consistency, which I told you, man, we'll see him in the playoffs. Here he is, Derek Ash, number 4. We expect it. He is here. Welcome back once again, sir. Chandler Taylor will enter. And learned a lot this year, have you, Chandler, as you're making an appearance with the big dogs. And, of course, yours truly finishing up at number 6. So there are your playoff finalists. Congratulations, gentlemen. Now, that isn't, again, I say that you are, yes, eliminated from playoff contention. But here we go when we talk about how we're going to start off our consolation rounds. And number 7 and number 8. And I told you we'd have at least one 7-7, and I did hint that I think we would have multiple, and that is the case. 2 7-7 teams on the outside looking in, and that's Brock Hudgens and Jordan Payne. But, gentlemen, the nice thing is no matter how many games, you could lose 3 games in a row. You don't want to do that because then your pick for 2025 isn't going to be as good. But it does ensure that there's no way you are going to end up in the forever unclean round. Congratulations there. And I think the fact that both of you gentlemen, especially Brock, finishing the fact that Brock started off 0-6 and has finished the year 7-7, that is a testament to will. That is a testament to dogged tenacity and fantastic fantasy playing. I just want to point that out. It is a very difficult thing to do, and not even difficult. Yes, difficult like to do in the sense of producing. It is mentally difficult to come back from 0-6. You can write yourself off at that point in time 9 times out of 10, and sure, that's what's going to happen. It takes a certain kind of individual to pull that off. I mean, really, really impressed. I just want to say, 6 and 8 teams. Aaron Grog, Aaron Felch, and Evan Coles. So you guys will definitely be in the contention to not be forever unclean. That is the case here. Our lone 3-11, Josh Johnson, and your injured reserves 4.0. It's going to be a tough climb there from the bottom of this ladder. And then at the very bottom, Jack Little Raven. But it's a great example, Jack, even though you finished last in the regular season at 2-12. It's a great way to show that, are you really the worst team when we finish 17 weeks of football and not just 14? I mean, why so many leagues end 3 weeks of playing for people who don't make the money rounds, if you will? That's just ridiculous. That's bad league management, okay? You need commissioners like me in your life. Be glad that you are in the greatest league that ever was or will be, because now you have a chance to let Josh become forever unclean. And Josh, I just want to say I don't want that to happen because you're my cousin. The Johnson line does not need to be stained with such grotesque and unnecessary and unbecoming. You definitely are someone who, it becomes forever unclean. It's not because of poor play. It is 100% because of injuries, and no one likes to see that, right? We'd all like to be injury-free and playing at our best. So, guys, there we go. That is week 14 in a nutshell. Thanks for joining in. We get to start all the fun, all the breakdowns of the playoffs and round 1 tomorrow. So take care, peace out, and we will see you tomorrow.